Hey, folks, welcome to Chino's Talking Rock, and where we talk all things hard rock and heavy metal. Hey, we get lots of different artists to come on the show, and lots of different artists from different genres and everybody's doing their own thing. And whenever I get, and a lot of the artists, people know, a lot of the bands I get are not, they're some of the artists a little bit older. We don't get a lot of the newer, the younger blood that's in the system. Um, and here you are. We got somebody here that Band Incorporated. So, and your name is Juliana. I don't want to butcher your name. Amaral.
Emerald.
Emerald. There we go. I was close. I gotta get points for being close.
You do, yeah. I've had worse pronunciations. Yours was perfect. Don't even worry about it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be on your show. Thank you.
It's great to have you in this world that we're in right now, and everything's coming back. And I know there's some talk about some little bit of relapses here and there, but everybody's moving forward. The stadium tour is en route, which I'm going to. Everybody's moving forward with their tour plans, and everything's it's fantastic seeing all these shows. What's the touring system site and everything look like for you guys?
So we've been really busy. We're very fortunate. We've had a lot of opportunities to travel and play. We're really busy this summer. We have a lot of shows. We have a lot of shows on the East Coast, New York, New England, and we're also going down to Florida. It's my first time in Florida. We got a little string of dates there. We got a lot on the West Coast too. We got some shows in California, and just we've been so fortunate. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but we love what we do. We love going out and playing and meeting new people, and just seeing people who enjoy listening to our music. So it's going to be, and it has been very busy.
Well, it's awesome, as it should be. I think that and I've had this conversation with a lot of different artists, and one of the things that it's really funny is that watching people who don't know. One of the things that's really drawn me to keep the wave the banner of hard rock and heavy metal music going all the time is the it's kind of weird. There's a gap between what's happening on album sales and all that to actual showing up and paying and going to a show. Mm-hmm. So clearly, more people go to hard rock and heavy metal shows than any other genre that there is.
Yeah.
By far, there's not even a comparison.
Yeah.
But they're not showing up to buy the albums or the music or get the merch and do all those things, which is really odd, which is really funny. But when you hear and you see things on the news about this such and such pop artist and this such and such pop artist, they're playing a big show and all these things, it's like, really? But how big is that show? I mean, what is this? So one of the things I think is really interesting is that hard rock and heavy metal, you guys are always touring. You're out there in front of your crowds. You're giving your fans what they want. And there's not a lot of other genres that do that. There aren't, but you guys do. You guys are always out there. So what is it like when you're always out there, you're delivering constantly, and you're always trying to if you're not able to, I guess probably my question is, what's it like when you're not able to have that opportunity always to take a break, catch your breath, and you're always out there on that road?
Honestly, that's a good question because I tell everyone, I've always wanted this. I've always wanted to go out and play because music, it's my life. Like that's really I gave all my time to it, and now it is all my time. I'm in college now, but all throughout high school, I gave up chances to go to dances. I never went to prom. I never went to all the parties because I just love music so much. So an average Saturday night, my classmates would be at a party, but I would be down the street playing like a club, like 9 to 1 in the morning, and I was like 16, but I loved it so much.
Right.
And I thought, if I want to keep doing this, I have to sacrifice a lot. And it's something that not a lot of people know about musicians, is how much you have to give up in order to do what you want to do, because it does take up all your time. It is something that you need to dedicate all of your time for. And I really don't mind, because music is my passion. I love writing songs, and being able to go out and travel and play stuff that I've written, stuff that, the band has done. It in the end, I think, I'm really happy that I chose to do this because I love playing out. To me, my favorite thing is playing out because I just love it. It's the way I tell people is it's my form of self-expression because like growing up I was always very quiet and shy and I always kept to myself, and I still am kind of that way. If you see me outside of music, I'm always with my headphones in or I'm just writing stuff down, and it's really the only way that I'm able to be like, this is how I feel, this is me, you know what I mean? So in the end, it is a great feeling to be able to travel and play. And honestly, I don't know what it would be like if I wasn't traveling all the time and playing. It would be kind of sad because you get to see places you've never been before. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that's one of the interesting things too about our genre of music too, is the camaraderie that's
Hmm.
behind it. It's like we are everybody's really so much about. I'm looking at that behind you. You have Dio and Motley Crue and all these, and it's like everybody in Van Halen, everybody was behind it. It's like, no, we've all got each other's backs. We're all
Yeah,
gonna make this happen. And
for sure.
it's the force of all of us that's gonna do this. It's not just the force of one. It's the force of all of us. Um,
Exactly.
my fiance, she really loves to watch the show. I don't know if you ever watched the show. I'm not getting any props for this or anything like that. There's a TV show called Botched, and
Oh, I've heard of that
yeah,
show.
there's a plastic surgeon on there,
Yeah.
and the plastic surgeon is Kevin DuBro's brother,
Yeah.
the lead singer from Quiet Riot. His brother is one of the plastic surgeons in the show,
Hmm.
and he looks just like Kevin. By the way, it's like it's really funny. You're watching the show, going, "Oh my God, it's Kevin DuBro."
He probably did, some work just so he can get taken as his
But
brother, maybe.
well, it's like when you put the two together, you're like, oh my gosh, they're so much alike. But the thing that's really funny about, well, not really funny, but kind of it's really neat about our genre of music, and somebody who's played in the music was like, we always had each other's backs. You came off, maybe you didn't have the perfect show, and then you came off the band that you're opening up for is like, hey man, you guys were great. You guys will do better next time. Don't worry about it. We got you. You're fine.
Hmm.
And I think that's one of the things I always loved about it. And I was in the military. I've done all these things, and that's one of the things I really loved about our music was like, oh, we've all got each other. We're all here to support one another and keep us going. When one of us moves on and passes away, the outpouring of support for these people comes through. Nobody's out there bashing each other I have to admit, when I was younger, there was a lot of that.
Yeah. Believe it or not, there still is. I mean, like it nowadays it's like it's our genre of music. I always say like music is what brings everyone together. Because it's just one of those things that every human has in common. We all love music. But it's true, like it's like can be bashing. Like, there are still people who are unfortunately very small-minded. But musicians, like in our type of genre, we care for each other because we want this music to live on. We're very compassionate about rock and heavy rock because you unfortunately don't see it as much anymore. But a lot of us are still trying to bring it back. We're trying to keep it. So we're like, we gotta help each other out.
Right? No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I think that, I lived in Europe for a number of years. And one of the things that was really great about it is that over there, they're like, we don't really care what's popular. We just like what we like.
Yeah,
So if it's
that's
good music, we go watch it. And
uh-huh.
if it's not popular and we like it, then 80,000 people who don't like, who are not into popular music are going to go see this group. It was crazy. I went to a Rock and Ring festival over there once, and
Uh-huh.
Triumph, I believe it was day 2, but Triumph was opening up day 2 on this just a huge festival, and you're like,
Uh-huh.
Triumph. I don't know when the last time it was. I'm completely shocked. Uriah Heep, you're completely blown away. But
Yeah.
over there, Germans were like, we don't care. We like it, so we
Yeah.
go. That's all there is to it. Americans get so caught up into this whole idea of popularity and what's on the radio, what's not, or what can I find on whatever. But I think that good music is just good music. I think you're absolutely right.
Exactly, and I love that you said that. It's like, we like it, if it's something that I like, I'm gonna like it, it's I think that's awesome that they do that.
we're going. We're going to be going to the stadium tour, and I was telling my fiance, I said, it's not going to be. I'm not going to be surprised when we encounter really young people there,
Uh-huh.
because I've gone to a lot of the shows I've gone to in the past. Young people were there,
Yeah.
much younger, and I think that that's really great. We went and saw. It wasn't the last time I've seen Tesla since, but I went and saw Tesla for the Into the Now tour, and this was
Nice.
like 2000. I can't remember, early 2000s, and it was in Salt Lake City, and there were really young people there, and the young people like engaged us. They came to us, they're like, so are you guys like really into Tesla? I'm like, yeah. Like, well, we've only heard this album and we love this album. What's the deal with them? Like, they're just a great rock band.
Yeah.
Really, really solid hard rock band. No filters. They're just if you want to get rocked out, Tesla is a great hard rock band. And they're like, okay. So I was like, yeah, just go back and you can listen to all the music. It's very, everything is, it's not, it doesn't fluctuate. It's all the same. They're like, oh, okay. So I think the idea of this music kind of reaching out and connecting to other musicians, other people, other genres, other not just genres, other ages. That's something that's happening, and I'm really happy to see it.
Hmm. For sure, I definitely agree. Rock music is definitely like rising again. It's starting to be that type of music that is popular. Like, people like my friends, we talk about rock music, and it's cool because it's like, oh, that I like that. That's what I like to hear. So I'm glad that you like that as well. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right. Well, so we're gonna, leaving that behind. So when, not to oversaturate the topic, because I think the topic has been a little bit oversaturated. But but I'm going to go on this because I've actually had a little bit of this on some feeds that I've read through, and I thought of this when I first saw the incident occur. I first thought of this, but it was interesting to see other people commenting on it, and that was the slap. Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, and people were, and people in hard rock and heavy metal were like, for some people, it actually had, there was like a trigger, and they thought about Dimebag Daryl when
Yeah.
Dimebag was on stage, and the guy gets on stage and shoots and kills Daryl. That freaked out people. The people were like, you let him on stage? How did you do that? Oh my
Yeah.
God, that would freak people out. Like, how are you letting this man on stage? You're never supposed to attack. And I commented on, I said, for a lot of fans of the hard rock and heavy metal world, this has like an effect on us,
Yeah.
because we've actually lost somebody that we loved, and when this happened, a lot of us were like, oh. And then it was really funny. Somebody made the comment, and then I don't know, maybe like a day later, somebody posted like a little clip of Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, and somebody jumped up on stage, and Keith Richards took his guitar off and getting ready to smack the guy in the head with it. It's like, I just commented under. I was like, yeah, you never approach an artist while they're on stage. Now, you can jump off the stage and do whatever you want to do. We're a hard rock, heavy metal. That happens.
Yeah.
But you don't ever engage the artist. You just let them go and you let them do their thing. So some people were like, hey, this kind of freaked me out when I saw this on TV. I was like, oh crap, what's he going to do? Is he going to do something? And when he smacked him, there was like this response from some people, and it wasn't me. I didn't have that response, but I was empathetic. I'm somebody who suffers from PTSD. So when I see that, I was like, oh, I can understand how you saw it. Oh no, this is what's going on. So going back onto that, washing over all that, is there something, do you ever think about that now at this point? And you go back and say, hey, look, we're on stage, fans get a little bit wild.
Mm.
They look at you, they look at the members of the band, they connect to you a little bit too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's something that you think about?
It's something that has crossed my mind, because I don't know, it's definitely tough because I'm the type of person who loves to build a connection with the audience. If anyone has seen me play, you know that I love engaging with the crowd. That's like my big thing. I love talking to the crowd. I like them to be a part of the show. because when I want to see a show, I want to feel like I'm a part of it. I'm not just seeing people. It's not like I'm just watching TV and being entertained. I want to go for an experience. And I always think like I like building a connection with them, but now that you're bringing this up, I never really thought that, they get really into it. I myself have not had an experience like that, so I can't really, speak behalf of it happening, but it's definitely something to think about. Because, sometimes you give a lot to like be in like to be connected with them, and I guess you never really think maybe they get too connected to him and it goes above and beyond, you know what I mean?
Right, right.
So I am the type of person to also agree with you, like, it's not appropriate to go on stage, like, like the whole Rolling Stones incident. Like, that's definitely no. Like, because
You don't,
it's
yeah.
you know what I mean? But I think as the artist, like I just saw a show recently where the lead singer like went in the crowd, started, high fiving people. Like I guess that's cool, that's like, they're safe. They're like they have like a walking thing.
Right.
Definitely agree with you that it's not safe because it also puts, it's a very strange situation. It's that weird connection that we have with the audience,
It is. It is. Yeah, yeah, it does. And especially with, I think, well, I don't know. I think every genre of music has that ability. And in the past, we've seen like really, really over exaggerated emotions put towards an artist.
Mhm.
And so I wouldn't, I don't mean to be like that, but I think that, you know, we've all experienced those things.
Mhm.
And it's like, the time out, time out, time out, but when something like that happens and you come up on stage and you're approaching somebody, and that's the comment that I had made was, and I kind of put that on my posting, was that you never approach the artist.
No.
Like people stage dive, they get into it, it's okay. And most of the artists are like, oh, that's fine, let them do
Yeah,
it.
we're just trying to add to the show, but it's
Right.
it's 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 strange when the other way around
Right.
happens,
But
you
when
know?
you don't touch the artist, don't go and engage them, let them go, let them do their thing.
Mhm.
It's like, that's one of those things where I think that, that's when I saw that, I thought that's very interesting. You're the first person I've asked about it.
Mhm.
And I've had interviews since, but you're the first person I've asked about it. I guess I kind of always felt like I wanted to make sure that this was an appropriate time to talk about this.
Yeah, for
Um, I think the other thing too, we're gonna leap off of that, and we're gonna jump off of that, and we had there's all this stuff that's always happening in hard rock and heavy metal music. It's
Mhm.
all over the place,
Mhm.
and there's like this holier than thou approach to music, especially to our genre music, and which I'm not necessarily 100% opposed to. I'm a purist. I believe in the purity of our music that we play, and I still play drums. I still do those things. And if I was in a band and we were on stage, I'd hope that the artist that I was playing with was actually doing everything we could do to play as pure as we could be.
Mhm.
I don't know if you actually saw recently. What is your take? What is your take on bands using backing tracks to
Um,
backfill their sound?
it's definitely something I've had conversations about. I look at it two ways. So there's like backing tracks that, instrumental ones, which
Mhm.
I think is fine,
Right.
if you're like a four piece and like it has a heavy production, like, you got like six guitar layers or something, and you got like keyboards and synths, maybe even back like gentle background vocal, sure, like,
Yeah.
'cause a lot of heavy metal bands do that.
Yeah, they
Like
do.
you see like like you'll even have like bells playing in the back, like, like you hear like church bells. You're
Sure.
like, you can't bring one to a gig, so you so that
Where did you have your church bells? Where are they at? Damn
exactly.
you.
So for that, I'm like, yeah, sounds cool, they're, shredding away and there's some bells playing in the background, that I'm like, sure, that's awesome. But there's also like backing tracks with vocalists. It's tough
It is.
because there's like a lot of ways that you can look at it. Uh, I like to give what is like the benefit of the doubt. I don't know. Like if you don't have a voice, like God forbid, like if you're sick, you know, you don't like, oh, I have this gig, then I kind of feel bad, you know, if singers have to do that. I'm very stubborn myself. I've always been like no backing tracks for me because I like to challenge. I like it. Like if I'm not feeling well, I'm still gonna go. I still want to, you know, give a show because I'm that type of person who believes that, you know, if you want to see someone live, I want to see them live. Like I want to see
Sure.
them sing. But they're like I'm very two-weight about it. I'm like the one who's like I see both sides. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I I am the type of person to be. I believe actually, I think Lady Gaga did that in the beginning of her career. Like she did a show, she didn't have a voice, so she did it like all backing tracks. And I remember, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, she did backing tracks!" But then she came back. She like never again am I gonna do that because you know backing tracks. But I myself I like to see like a live show. That's my opinion. I like to see everyone singing. I like to
The
see
grit,
like
the dirt.
yeah, yeah, you know what I mean? It's like I like to see live vocals. That's just as a vocalist, I like to see people sing. So that's my opinion on it.
Well, look, we have to be honest. So we're just going to be completely honest here. I'm like the biggest Motley Crue fan that there ever was. I've got,
Yeah.
trust me, I've got on my walls, I've got autographed things from Motley Crue and
Oh
everything.
my God.
I, I,
Nice.
I will say this, and I will not. You'll never know it from me. But one of my kids is named after one of the members of Motley Crue. It's
Oh my
absolutely true.
God, that's
I
so
I
awesome.
love Motley Crue. Motley Crue, they pulled me through my childhood, and
Yeah.
so. But what I will tell you is Vince Neil is not a good live singer. I'm just saying it. That's just
No,
the reality. That's just the reality. And you
yeah.
want to know what Motley Crue fans have to say? So we don't
Yeah.
care. We really don't care. You know why? Because it's Vince Neil and it's Motley Crue, and there's such an entanglement of so many different genres of music in there, punk and heavy metal and blues and all kinds of crap. Who
Yeah.
cares? Just bring
Exactly.
us Motley Crue, and we'll take it. And but all the other like all the casual listeners go, oh, but he's so terrible. And we're like, oh, who cares? Nobody cares.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is, but I'm also going to go to the other side is that, Kiss for years.
All they do is backing tracks
They
now. It's
Kiss for
all
a
they
long time used Mark Slaughter. Mark Slaughter stood behind a curtain and he sang.
yeah.
And that's true. I'm not making that's a fact. And,
No.
and Kiss now talks about it. It's like, yeah, we hired Mark Slaughter. He stood on and he backed up Paul Stanley.
Yeah, but
And
they're like huge. Like, see, I
yeah,
see what you mean. Like, no, it's Kiss and it's Motley Crue. They're the voice of a generation. You know,
right, right.
like, you can't be mad at that because
You can't. You
they
can't.
they they're like someone's life. Like their life is composed of like Kiss and Motley Crue. Like that music plays in the background of all major events that has happened. So it's like you can't really be like backing track. Like you know,
Oh
it's
my God, it's backing tracks. I can't listen to them ever again. Yeah, I no, absolutely. I agree. Well, we'll leave that, but leave that as it is. And if anybody out there is offended by my opinion of it, do not push that on to Juliana. It's her opinion. This is my opinion. This is my show. This is my opinion. This is not what she has to say. This is how I have to feel. But moving forward, what are the bands? Because anybody who listens to the show knows I'm like huge on influences. I love influences.
yeah.
What are your influences?
Number one, right away I have to say Led Zeppelin. To me, they were really I want to even though the Beatles were like the first rock band I heard, I consider them to be like the first hard rock band that I've ever heard because you know Robert Plant is a big you know he's a big hero to me. I am very inspired by you know the vocals, the music. Led Zeppelin is definitely one of those bands that we talked about. Like they did every genre. They like put every genre into their music, and they created something that was not alive at the time, which was the sound that they had and still have, and many bands have tried to do that. and it's like no one beats Led Zeppelin. My second would have to be Motorhead, for probably the same reasons. Yeah. I actually named
Love
my
Motorhead. Love them.
I I love it. I love I actually named my dog Lemmy after Motorhead because he's a little Pomeranian and he's black and white. And I looked at him and he kind of looks like he has an ace on his forehead. Like I was like, I can't let the opportunity pass, you know. um, Motorhead to me, because I play bass and I sing. Lemmy was, big inspiration to me because when I started my band, I didn't have a vocalist because it was hard to find. And I thought, I was listening to Motorhead at the time, and I still listen to Motorhead. But I thought, you know what, there's not a lot of girls that do it, so I'm gonna try it. And I fell in love with singing and playing the bass. So he's definitely a big inspiration to me. My third would have to be Queen, because I'm a songwriter, and to me, Freddie Mercury is like the best songwriter in all of history. I think that he is he was one of those people that inspired many, and his writing and his music is just something that will never get old and will always live on. So I look up to Queen. They're probably one of my all-time favorites. Um, Trying to think, all the 80s, Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue. There's so many. Kiss, I love Kiss. Now, I actually love Kiss for the music, but I also love Kiss just for their look, you know?
Right,
Uh,
right.
I am
Yeah,
definitely one of those musicians. I love fashion. That's one of my favorite things. Besides music, if I'd have to say I love something, would have to be fashion. So I love Kiss because they're one of those bands that I saw. I was like, that's so cool, and I like buy wear platforms because of Kiss. Like I do, and it's just as a musician, we tend to grab and hold on to things that other
sure.
bands have done that we look up to, and we kind of create our own sort of figurine of musicians. So those would definitely be my biggest influences for sure.
Well, it's funny because me growing up, my biggest influences in music were Led Zeppelin, Molly Hatchet, Ted
Mhm.
Nugent, Black Sabbath. Those were the bands that inspired me, that got me into it. And then as my real like inspirational years came along, Motley Crue, Metallica, and all these, old, all these stuff. When I first time I heard Kill 'Em All, I was like, oh my god, what is happening to my ears? This is like
Yeah.
insanity. And then but I can remember my first Kiss poster, Destroyer, and all
Yeah.
these other things. Yeah, it just I grew up. I'm almost 50 years old, so it's like one of those things where hard rock and heavy metal music. I was really much in the emergence of a lot of this stuff. But it's really, really wonderful to hear that you draw from a lot of these things, and you're pulling all of these things into who you are and the way you do things. It's really, really big. We only have a couple of minutes left. Do you have anything you want to share with the fans? Because you got some stuff coming up. So
Yeah, for sure. So my Band Inc. We got a lot coming up. The end of the month, we're actually recording our first EP, which I am just so excited to share with everybody. It's definitely something that I've always wanted to do. Long story short, like before the pandemic was when I was supposed to record the EP, but I got to, record a Midnight Rider, which is our first single that we released. We just passed 15,000 streams, so I'm just so thankful to everyone who has been listening and all of our listeners. So thank you so much if any listeners are hearing. But this month we'll be recording. It's about a few songs that will be on the EP. Yeah, it's really exciting, and then we got a ton of shows. And if anyone wants to catch us live, I would suggest looking us up. Just if you type out Band Inc. BANDINC on all social medias, you can find us. If you'd like to find me, all you have to type out is my name. I'll spell it out real quick because it's a Portuguese and Italian name, so it's long. I'll help you guys out. So it's a Juliana, Giuliana, Lucia, Lucia, Amaral, Amaral. So if anyone wants to, check out everything that's coming out, or if you just want to join the party and the adventure, you can give us a follow and a like, and you'll see everything on there.
Awesome. Well, there you guys go. That's what you guys need to know. Once again, Band Eek, you guys heard it here on Gino's Talking Rockin'. We talk all things hard rock and heavy metal. That's what we're all about. That's what this is all about. It's all about the artists promoting what these guys do. You hear it from me for the last almost 2 years, you've heard it from me every single episode. If you support these guys, you buy their merch, you buy their albums, you support these guys. If you want them flipping burgers, then you don't. If you want to get these guys to continue to rock your face and make your ears bleed, you bring it, you pay for it, you make sure that they have a job, and that job is playing rock and roll. That's what you want. That's what we all want. That's what this is all about. This is hard rock and heavy metal, guys. This is not pretty. This is hard rock and heavy metal. This is as dirty as music can get right here. Boom. So again, guys, thanks for coming and thanks for listening. Thank you so much, Juliana, for coming on. Hang out for a second, catch up with you. But once again, folks, well, thank you for joining Gino's Talking Rockin'. And always remember, keep those metal horns up.